So, a couple of episodes have passed since my last Falcon and the Winter Soldier upload, and did my opinion change about that show? Well, honestly, yes, a little bit, but I'll talk about that way later in the show, so keep watching. Anyway, let's begin with episode 2. So, the episode begins with the new Captain America, whose name is John, by the way, and he's getting a pep talk from his girl and his friend because he has anxiety, I think. Anyway, after that, he goes to a high school stadium and has a very cringy intro as he gives an interview about how awesome and cool he is. Sensing some narcissism in this show, but we'll see what happens with that. So Bucky and Sam meet up and are angry AF about the new Captain America, and then they have a very, very, very stupid conversation about wizards. And apparently Bucky has seen Lord of the Rings back in 1932, whatever the hell. Which doesn't make sense, but whatever. But anyway, they decide to team up for reasons to find the Flag Smashers.
Says some silly ass name. This whole class is gonna feel my wrath.
Then, in Germany, Bucky decides to jump out of a plane without a parachute because he is so cool. But then he lands on his ass because he is also a dumbass. Anyway, they manage to find the flags and then proceed to bicker about the best approach, and it is really freaking annoying. Then, Bucky and Sam catch up to the flags and proceed to have kind of a kick-ass fight on some moving trucks, and they get the ass beat because all of the Flag Smashers are super soldiers because reasons. Until John shows up, the cool new Captain America, and then all 4 of them proceed to get their ass beat. After that, John tries to talk to Sam and Bucky, but they're still salty AF about the shield, and they just decide not to listen to him whatsoever. Also, this has nothing to do with anything, but John's best friend's nickname is Battlestar.
You serious?
Then we get to see the flags motivation, and it is petty AF. Basically, they're mad because the world cares more about the people coming back after the snap than the survivors, allegedly. So I'm not saying that their motivation is stupid, but it is pretty freaking stupid, you gotta admit. Anyway, then we see Bucky introduce Sam to Isaiah, who was basically the black Captain America in the 50s, but without the glamour. Also, he is salty AF for being treated as a test subject and being sat in a tube for 30 years or whatever he said. Which is, understandable, but not really subtle. After that, Sam and Bucky yell at each other for a little bit in the middle of the street until the cops show up and are hella racist towards Sam until they find out that he is a superhero. I guess subtlety is not a thing that exists at Disney anymore because this is as subtle as a brick to the face. Alright, anyway. Bucky gets arrested because he missed a therapy session. Then him and Sam have couples counseling, and this is by far the dumbest scene in the entire show so far. It's so cringy, it almost rivals WandaVision. Slap that dislike button. I don't know, the whole thing just felt so juvenile to me, so childish. It's really stupid. Anyway, John manages to spring them from jail, but they're still pissy at each other and decide to go their separate ways. So the flags are smuggling medicine and other stuff and are portrayed as sympathetic, allegedly. Then some dudes with guns show up and the flags are like, oh no, but they leave a dude to stall the dudes with the guns and escape. But the dude who was supposed to act as a distraction is a dumbass because he runs straight into a hail of bullets and dies. Because he's stupid. Then Bucky decides to go see Zemo for answers, and that's basically how episode 2 ends. So in the beginning of episode 3, Bucky goes to visit Zemo, who's in prison, and Zemo tries to mind control Bucky, but it doesn't work, probably because his Russian sounds like ass. Then Bucky breaks Zemo out of prison, super casually, by the way. Like, it was literally zero difficulty. The dude practically walks out of that prison. in order to help Bucky out with the investigation. And then Sam begrudgingly agrees to all of this nonsense for some reason. Then it turns out that not only is Zemo royalty, but he's hella rich.
I'm rich, biatch!
The man is so rich, he even has his own butler who's like 2 days away from death. Anyway, they go to Indonesia and have to go undercover to get information. And this is where my biggest problem with the episode comes up. And it has to do with Bucky. He goes undercover as the Winter Soldier and beats up a bar full of people at Zemo's request. My biggest problem is that it is well known that Bucky fought Thanos and was pardoned for his crimes. So why did these gangsters fall for all of this deception, is my question. Even the asshole cop and Zemo, who was in prison, knew that Bucky was back to normal. So how come this bar of freaking notorious, allegedly gangsters, did not know?
That does not make sense.
Regardless, the ruse works and they get an audition with this one chick whose name I don't remember because, spoilers, she dies. Anyway, she says that there's this one doctor who managed to recreate the super soldier serum for the power broker who is allegedly the big bad of the season. However, the guys get busted when Sam's sister calls him complaining about the damn freaking boat. For crap's sake, this boat is a bigger nuisance than freaking Thanos was. Anyway, that one chick gets shot in the face and dies. Then a bounty is placed on the guys' heads as they are blamed for that one chick's death for some reason. They're ambushed, but they are saved by Captain America's niece, who he had a sexual relationship with. Yeah, that was freaking weird when you think about it for more than 2 seconds. Anyway, it turns out that she is now an art thief because, unlike Bucky, she did not receive a pardon because the US government is run by a bunch of assholes. Allegedly. Anyway, she makes a deal with Sam for a pardon in return for her helping them out. Also, she might be the power broker. Who knows? So, Sharon, which is the most basic white girl name I think I've ever heard in my life, manages to find the location of the scientist who reveals that he made 20 vials of the super soldier serum until Zemo just shoots him right in the face for no reason, because, you know, he's a dick. Anyway, during this time, Sharon has the best fight scene in the episode until some douchebag shoots an RPG into the lab, which freaking explodes. But do not worry, because all of them manage to survive. How do they survive, you might ask?
I don't know.
Then they get rescued by Zemo wearing his purple mask probably because of fan service, if I'm being honest. And probably to hide the stunt double because the actor looks kinda chubby, I'm not gonna lie.
You idiots! These are not them! You've captured their stunt doubles!
Anyway, back on the plane, Sam is like, I should have destroyed the shield. It's causing so many problems. And then Bucky is like, bruh, I'm gonna become the new Captain America. Screw you, Sam. That's basically their entire conversation throughout these last 2 episodes. I'm not gonna lie. It's the same crap. Anyway, then we see the Flags steal some food and then proceed to blow up a building with the people still inside. Why?
He's an asshole.
Anyway, the episode ends with Bucky finding a Wakandan woman just standing in the middle of Europe, totally inconspicuous, and she is there looking for Zemo. So the next episode begins in Wakanda, like 5 years ago, because it's a flashback, and I just gotta say that the CGI in this scene is disgusting. It's just like an establishing shot, but for some reason they decided to CGI it instead of using an actual location, and it looks gross. Anyway, that one Wakandan chick who met Bucky last episode is the one who helped him resist the brainwashing. And, you know, it was supposed to be a very emotional scene with him overcoming his struggles and everything, but her Russian was so horrible, I briefly thought about just ending the whole series right here and now. But I got through it, thankfully. And I know that she is trying to sound like Russian and all that, but it sounds horrendous. I'm sorry. Seriously, just get somebody to dub over you. It's not that big of a deal. But at least it's still not as bad as this.
Вы правда думаете, что я красива?
Sorry for going on a bit of a rant, but anyway, let's just get back to the story. So in the present, the Wakandans are still angry AF about Zemo killing their king, and give Bucky about 8 hours before they're gonna go and, just stab Zemo in the face or whatever the hell they're planning to do. Then we see Zemo, and his ideology is basically that all superheroes are Nazis, because everyone with power eventually becomes corrupted. So I'm not saying that he's right, but I'm not saying that he's wrong either. So Sam, Bucky, and Zemo go outside to find the location of the Flag Smashers, and Zemo finds that info by bribing some kids with candy, which definitely does not feel predatory at all. Then he uses that info as leverage against them. So Sam is like, oh, hells nah. Then he calls Sharon up for help, but she is useless in this episode completely, so I don't know what the point of that even was. Then we see the Flags during this time fetch the serum from a grave, which is kind of an awesome hiding spot, not gonna lie. Nobody goes to graves. And basically their plan is to make even more super soldiers because of reasons, I don't know. Then John shows up and Sam convinces him to let him talk to Carly, aka the main chick of the Flag Smashers. And John's like, fine, for 10 minutes, aka 5 minutes. Then Zemo pays a girl 500 rubles to show him where Carly is. So Sam goes to talk to Carly, and she has some communist ideals because the government stole her house. And Sam is like, damn, you got a point. But you are also killing people, so just like, nah, stop that. And at this point, John bursts in because he's hella impatient, and Carly manages to escape. But then Zemo comes out of frigging nowhere and shoots Carly in the stomach. And then he proceeds to break all the super soldier files, except for one, because he's apparently blind because it was like right there on the floor. But then John comes out of nowhere, smacks Zemo in the face with the shield, knocks him out, and then takes that vial.
Yeah. After all, why not? Why shouldn't I keep it?
Then back at the hotel, John wants to arrest Zemo, but Bucky and Sam are just like, no. But then the Wakandans show up and start a fight for literally no reason. I'm not exaggerating. They just burst into the room and just start throwing spears for literally no reason. Anyway, the guys get their ass beat and Bucky loses an arm. And then Zemo manages to escape through the bathroom somehow. I don't know. He just flushed himself through the freaking pipes. I don't know how the hell he escaped. Then John is sad AF because he lost to a girl, and that is a bruise to his ego, apparently. Now, I get what happened, but I have a problem with what happened in this scene, because the Wakandans are just too damn strong. I understand why Sam and John lost, but Bucky losing does not make any sense to me whatsoever. Even with one arm, he should have kicked their ass, like low diff. This man has the literal powers of Captain America. He could kick all their asses. I don't understand why he lost, right? Like, we saw what Steve could do in the other movies. So how did he lose to like one girl with a spear? It just baffles my mind. I need to stop now or I'm going to be doing this all day. Just whatever. That scene was stupid. I'm just going to move on. Anyway, John asked his friend if he should take the serum, which he has in his back pocket. And his friend is like, Then Carly calls Sam's sister, whose phone number she pulled out of her ass, and tells her that she'll kill her kids if she doesn't get an audience with Sam. So Sam goes to talk to Carly, and he's mad because his nephews were threatened. And she basically says, join the dark side.
Do it.
But then John raids the Flag's hideout, and the conversation is cut short. Then Battlestar, such a dumb name, I swear, gets kidnapped like a dumbass, and John takes the serum, turning him into Captain America, but not really. Then Sam and Bucky show up, and the best action scene of the whole show commences. Yes, even better than the Sharon fight. I really liked the choreography and everything. I like how Sam uses his wings and his thrusters to fight, and I also liked some of Bucky's choreography as well. But, you know, the fact that they don't have any guns is just very disconcerting to me. Anyway, John proceeds to get his ass beat, even with the serum, so what was even the point of taking it, honestly? Seriously, this man cannot stop taking L's. It's kind of hysterical how stupid it actually is. Anyway, then Carly tries to stab John in the face with the knife, and then Battlestar tackles her, and she gets mad and gives him a love tap on the chest, and then he dies like a bitch. In response to that, John goes rage mode and murders one of Carly's followers in front of a group of people with cameras. So I don't really know what to think about that. He's kind of a dumbass. So basically, what I'm saying is they just turned this man into Homelander from The Boys. So yeah, that's basically it for the recap. Now, let's get into the stuff that I actually liked about these sets of episodes. I like the fact that the action scenes, in my opinion, are actually getting better. You know, they're not great, but they are getting better. There's not so much crappy CGI with Falcon just flying around and doesn't look like ass. So that is a step up. I'll give you that. They're also not talking about that damn boat as much. And that makes me so happy. I mean, there was that one boat reference in episode, 3? That kind of pissed me off. But so far, no boat is good. That boat is stupid. Leave that boat alone. I also like seeing John going through a negative character arc. Him developing as what I assume to be the main villain. Maybe? I mean, who knows? He did just decapitate some dude with a shield, so that seems kind of villainous. But if he turns out to be the best good guy ever, I'll take my words back. But so far, it seems like he's developing to be like the anti-Captain America or some such thing. And I like that. Develop your villains, Disney, because they've been kind of ass, I'm not gonna lie. I also kind of like Bucky. Him going through all of his crap. Him going through his emotional journeys. Seeing how he was able to overcome his brainwashing and all that. I like that. Even though the Russian was not great. Ugh. But, you know, for the most part, actually done really well. I enjoyed that. And also, the acting is pretty good. For the most part, especially the dude who plays the Winter Soldier. His acting is actually probably the best out of everybody in the show. And I say the acting is great for the most part, and that's for the main actors because the side characters are just, they're not great. They're really not great. Especially that one flag smasher chick, the main one. She's, she's not great. Also, I kind of miss Sam's groupie dude because that dude was actually kind of hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. I wish they put him more of him inside because that dude is so stupid. I actually kind of unironically love him. But yeah, so far the show hasn't made me want to rip my hair out or anything of the sort. So you know what? That's a plus to the show. Unlike WandaVision, which was just terrible in every single way possible. Slap that dislike button. Now, let's get into the stuff that I didn't like. And I'll try to be short and get to the main issues and not ramble on. Emphasis on the try. Anyway, let's begin with the action. Because although I praised it earlier, it's still very disorienting to try and follow it. Because 1, it's shaky as hell. And 2, they don't really establish where the characters are in relationship to each other most of the time. So it's kind of weird when somebody pops out of the corner of your eye and you're just like, what the hell? Where did you come from? I don't know. For an action series, I kind of expected better action, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Anyway, also don't like how much the show beats you over the head with political issues. And not that that in itself is wrong, but my problem is that it is not subtle in the slightest. And I just find it kind of annoying. But I get it. It's just my taste, you know, and taste is subjective. I mean, maybe you like having political issues beat you right in the face. But I don't. I actually kind of hate it. But, you know, that's just me. Also, the villains in the show are lame as hell. The Flag Smashers, for example. The lamest ass villains, I think, ever. They're trash. I get why they're doing what they're doing, but they are so boring. Nobody gives a damn. The girl is the only one who's being focused on, and everyone else is pretty much expendable, if I'm being honest. I mean, John just like decapitated the dude with the shield, and I just could not give a crap. Also, that scene bothered me so much because the other dude is also super soldier, so why doesn't he just, like, I don't know, kick John in the dick and then try to escape. Instead, he just like, oh no, puts his arms up and then gets decapitated. Like, what the hell's wrong with you, dude? You're supposed to be hella strong. Whatever. Anyway, what was I saying? Right, so the chick, she is also very stupid because for some reason, she thinks that killing John, shooting him right in the face, even though he's Captain America, will somehow bring the world together in harmony or something stupid like that. Like, no, you gotta make him a martyr, you know, to oppose your cause. I just... She's so stupid. They are so stupid. I cannot deal with how stupid these people actually are. If you're watching the show and you genuinely like her and the Flag Smashers, please tell me why, because I am beyond confused. I also really despise Sam and Bucky's relationship towards each other because it is so childish and juvenile sometimes, and every time they get pissy at each other, I just roll my eyes. I just can't deal with their nonsense. That couple scene when they're together sitting like 2 inches from each other, worst scene. Just, it's so gross. I hate it. Just, can we please have them act like adults? Show, please, without all this like childish nonsense. Also, as an addition to the previous point, the comedy in the show is also like almost non-existent. I know they're trying to add some comedy, some levity in regards to Sam and Bucky especially, but it just doesn't work. I don't know what it is with these Marvel shows, but the comedy just is non-existent. You know, when I think about great Marvel comedy, I think about what, Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor Ragnarok, something else that's not coming to mind. I don't know, those were like funny movies. I laughed out loud, those were funny, but for some reason, WandaVision and the freaking Winter Soldier and Falcon, the comedy just ain't hitting. I don't know what it is. If you laughed, just what are you for? Also, the characters in the show, for some reason, are really freaking stupid. They make the dumbest decisions sometimes, and I'm pretty sure you've noticed throughout this whole review, I've been pointing out all these mistakes. So just go back and watch it. Also, something that I haven't actually brought much attention to is how the characters are actually treating Zemo, because it is casual as hell. This man strolls out of prison, and then suddenly he's all buddy-buddy with Sam and Bucky, even after all the crap he pulled in Civil War, which is something that I don't really understand, why they're treating him so casually. Like, they don't even lock him up. They're just like, oh yeah, you know, just cool, just eat your candies, walk around the apartment, you'll be fine. Which is just bizarre to me. Like, lock his ass up. You know he's gonna try to escape. What is wrong with you? Whatever. I have more points to say, but it's like 2 a.m. and I'm tired as hell. I'm going to bed. But yeah, overall, I'd say that I like the show, but it has its fair share of problems. I'll say that. Much more than last time, I would say. I mean, you could try and fix the show, and I hope they do. But whatever. It's just, we have 2 episodes left. Let's hope they nail it. Let's hope the finale's chef's kiss. But we shall see. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that nonsense. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.